Hello learners, myself Dr. Sonal Chavda. I am welcoming you all to another session, and today we are going to discuss about management of space and time in classrooms. Whether whatever kind of approach you use in any kind of setting, in any kind of classroom, the teachers always have these issues, or teachers always have to grapple with the kind of time they have and the kind of space which is available in the classroom. Now, we all as teachers, we appreciate that it is only successful classroom teaching which leads to efficient learning. Only efficient learning can happen only if there is a successful classroom teaching which is happening. If the teaching is not successful, the learning cannot be efficient. So, to enable a successful classroom environment or to enable a successful learning, we need to really equip our teachers with certain kind of skills. What are these kind of skills? These are classroom management skills. A teacher comes across various situations in the classroom. She has to grapple with different kind of situations. She has to handle different kind of learners in the classroom. So, there is a set of skills which the teacher should be enabled or which the teacher should be having so as to manage a classroom properly. However, let us just understand what does this word classroom management means. Classroom management requires the ability to plan, the ability to control and facilitate interaction in the classroom which is appropriate to the activity, and also at the same time it promotes learning and takes into account the different needs and abilities of every child. So, the teacher needs to take account of the activity also, she has to promote the learning also, and she has to see that all the different needs of different abilities of every child is catered to. So, she has a daunting task at hand if we really appreciate what is she doing in the classroom. And if she has the proper classroom management skills, she will be able to do these jobs in a better manner. Now, there are different aspects of classroom management. Let us just understand what are these different aspects. I am just going to list down here because our focus more in this session is going to be on the management of space and time in the classroom. But we need to have an understanding of what are the different aspects of classroom management, because then only we will be able to appreciate that where the time is needed and where we need to understand that how the space in the classroom has to be managed. The number one skill is, or the number one aspect of classroom management is building congenial environment for learning. Secondly, to promote classroom interaction. Third is to encourage participation by every student. Next, handling the problems of indiscipline in the classroom. Also, maintaining steady focus on the topic of learning. There also needs to be focus on the topic of learning. Then, maintaining healthy interpersonal relationship with the students and among the students also. So, if you understand that all these aspects of management which we all are coming across in our classroom, we may not have listed them down, but we all know that we are grappling with these situations, and all the teachers are grappling with certain kinds of classroom management problems or classroom management issues, if not called problems, at all stages, whether the teacher is teaching at a primary level or the teacher is teaching at a secondary level or you are teaching at higher secondary level, you are dealing with situations or different classroom management aspects. So, with an appreciation of the understanding of the different aspects of classroom management, let us just move further. Now, we need to understand which classroom management skills really need focus. The two focused classroom management skills for this session would be management of time and management of space. Now, what is management of time? Time management is nothing but it's setting and following a schedule in order to organize and prioritize the activities that are to be conducted in the classroom. We all know that there are n number of activities which have to be conducted in the classroom. Now, how these have to be managed and how these have to be managed in a stipulated amount of time, here comes the role of the skill of time management for the teacher. So, she has to schedule herself, she has to organize the activities, she has to prioritize the activities which are to be conducted in the classroom. It is not just careful planning of the instructional activities which the teacher needs to do. She also needs to give close attention to how class time will be utilized. So, it is not just planning, but she needs to make an efficient planning also, and she needs to see that how those different activities can be scheduled within the stipulated time. So, the teacher needs to understand that what kind of activities is she involved in the classroom, Because if you have an understanding of the different kind of activities which you are doing in the classroom without probably a tacit understanding of the same, you won't be able to do the justice to the same. So, let us just understand what are these activities which we are daily doing in the classroom, but only thing is we are not paying them due attention in that regard. You are moving children from one activity to another, that requires time. Then you are doing different learning tasks in the classroom which definitely require time. There are written assignments, the teacher has to tackle some off task behavior also, then you have to take roll call, you have to take attendance also, and these are just examples of what you are doing in the classroom. There would be n number of activities which you do in the classroom, and once we list down these, we really understand, or we are really able to see what the kind of or the time or the amount of work which we are doing in the classroom. Now, if having an understanding of the basic activities which the teacher is engaging in the classroom, she will also able to understand that there is stipulated time which is required for all these activities. If the teacher has that kind of time, if she knows how to manage the time, she will be able to do all these tasks easily. But if she does not know proper time management, probably she will be running out of the classroom, she would be getting hassled in the classroom that, oh, I have not done this or I have missed to do this. So, you need to have those skills in yourself that you can manage your time properly and you do not get bogged down by the different kind of tasks which you have to manage in the classroom. Now, Right to Education implemented in 2009, it also talked about certain kind of time management norms in the classrooms. According to Right to Education Act 2009, 800 instructional hours per academic year for class 1 to 5 and 10,000 instructional hours per academic year for class 6 to 8 is mandated for all the schools. So, at primary level class 1 to 5 you need 800 instructional hours, and upper primary level class 6 to 8 you need 10,000 instructional hours. Now, that seems to be a huge number, but just imagine that it is spread throughout the academic year. So, in a sense the teacher will be spending minimum of 45 hours in teaching including preparation hours in a week. 45 hours in the school setting wherein you are doing your teaching also, and since in order to do a good teaching you need to have certain kind of preparation also. So, you are going to spend almost 45 hours in teaching including preparation hours in a week. Now, as teachers we all know that there is a connection between the learning time and the student learning. So, what is happening in this whole process is the good quality time which the teacher is able to give to the students in learning per se, not in the other activities which are being done in the classroom, the learning is definitely going to be better. So, there is a learning relationship between learning time, student learning and the student growth which is happening in the classroom. There have been enough researches which have been done in the area, and researchers have proved that student achievement is higher when they spend more time engaged in learning activities. So the example for these learning activities could be doing experiments, observation, practice work, discussion, problem solving and some kind of reading activities which is being done in the classroom. So, the achievement is higher if the learning time is higher. Secondly, researchers have also shown that the amount of time the students spent on learning differs practically from classroom to classroom. Now, this classroom to classroom may be varying because of the subjects they are doing and also because of the teachers which are involved in the classroom. So, a teacher with good management skills in terms of time management, she may be able to spend more time on learning with the students as compared to somebody who is not good at time management or who is struggling with the limited time which is available to the teachers. The teachers need to be really cautious about the same or really need to plan their time also, because there are lots of other activities which are happening in the school also outside the classroom, in the school, outside the classroom. So, for all those activities also you need to have time, but here we are focusing more on the management of time within the classroom setting. Now, there are different classroom management procedures or steps which are very basic simple steps, but if the teacher follows them, she will be able to do more justice to the same. It would be something like preparing yourself for the classroom activities. If this preparation stage you have planned yourself things in a better manner, you won't be struggling with time in the classroom. आप It won't happen that you are looking for time or you are looking for what next to be done in the classroom. Once you are prepared, once you have done your things yourself better, once you have done your homework in that sense, you will be better able to manage the things in the classroom. So, prepare yourself for the classroom activities. Secondly, be very clear and give specific verbal instructions when you are giving those instructions to the students. So, if you are clear and you are giving specific instructions, then the students would have less queries on the same. If the instructions are not clear or if the instructions are not specific, the students are going to cross question you, or probably they are going to ask you the same thing again and again. So, here the choice of words comes in play. If the teacher is giving clear and specific instructions, this time in addressing the queries of the students is going to get reduced. It is not that even with clear and verbal instructions, the students won't have queries. They would definitely have queries even after that. But what would happen is the number of queries is going to get reduced. The third aspect or the third suggestion for the teachers could be, she could plan a short written activity before starting a new activity. Now, what would do that in a primary classroom? What the teacher would gain is, she will get herself some kind of time so that she can plan for the next activity which she is going to do in the classroom. So, if she has done a short written activity, she has given it to the students are engaged in doing that short activity, and meanwhile she will be able to prepare herself for starting a new activity. Otherwise, if the students are not engaged in any kind of activity when the teacher is planning for the new activity, what is going to happen is the problem of indiscipline or the problem of off-task behavior is going to happen in the classroom. So, what teacher would need to do then is, she would need to sort out those kind of issues first and then plan for her activity. So, that is going to spread the time. So, in order to save time on that simple instance also, the teacher can involve them in some kind of activity, preferably a written activity, and then she can plan for the new activity. That is going to mellow down the energy of the students also, and the teacher for herself is also going to get some amount of time. Then another thing could be that the teacher could rearrange the seats, assigning each student a specified place. Now, what is happening with this simple thing is that each student has a specific place. Since the teacher knows it, if the teacher has to approach a particular student, she is going to just go straight to that student. So, she won't have to spend time in that. So, rearranging the seats, assigning each student a specified place is going to definitely save time, and the teacher will be able to save time in the classroom. What next she can do is, she can arrange the classroom in a manner that she doesn't have to look for different kind of materials when she needs. If the teacher has arranged the classroom in a proper manner, she knows what where is kept, she won't have to spend time in looking for things. And these things can be easily enabled even with the help of students also. You are done with the activity, you are done with the classroom work, you can involve the students also in arranging the classroom back. Now, what is going to be done with this kind of gesture would be that, one, the students would be involved, secondly, the problem of indiscipline gets tackled, and thirdly, you are saving your time also. Those little hands can really help you in arranging the classroom. They are also going to learn that feeling of responsibility also, and also it is helping the teacher in the classroom also. Now, I hope you all have understood that how the time can be managed properly in the classroom. Let's move to the second part of the session, which is talking about management of space in the classroom. Time, space. Both these things have their own importance and have their own role to play in the classrooms. A well organized and a well furnished classroom motivates the students for learning. Not just for learning, for anybody. If the house is organized, you feel like living in the house, you feel like enjoying the things, and you feel more motivated to do certain kind of activities in the house. So, if a house is playing that kind of role, we can also imagine what a well organized and a well furnished classroom can do to its students. They really get motivated for learning if the environment in the classroom of the materials in the classroom are properly arranged. Even in a small school with a few resources, a good teacher is able to create a well ordered classroom that encourages learning. So, organization is nothing to do with the number of things which you have. It is more to do with the skill of organizing the space. You may be having 20 things in the classroom, but if you do not know how to arrange them, you may not be doing any kind of justice, or you may not be able to motivate the students further to engage in any kind of learning activity. But on the other hand, there may be a teacher who just has a limited probably 5 things to herself, 5 activities or items in her classroom, but she has arranged them in a proper manner and she is able to induce that learning environment in the classroom. So, it is not to do with the number of things which you have in the classroom, it is more to do with the organizations of the things in the classroom. Now, let us understand what are the different components of classroom which really need some kind of arrangement or which really occupy certain kind of space in the classroom, and wherein the role of teacher comes in to arrange the classroom space. The first thing would be classroom's furniture and floor space. Now, this is something which is going to be there in all the classroom, whether the classroom is small, whether the classroom is big, whether the classroom is from a small school or whether the classroom is from a big school. Certain kind of furniture is definitely going to be there and the floor space is always there. So, what the teacher here can do is, she can arrange all the furniture and in the room and make sitting arrangement in such a way that the students can move easily in the classroom. They are able to roam around comfortably and the teacher herself can easily reach every student as and one required. So, the first premise here is the classroom furniture which is there in the classroom and the floor space. However large a room may be, it is always limited when it comes to arranging the things. So, even in a large room, if you have spaced out your desk and table and there is commotion in the classroom, you won't be able to reach to the students easily and the students won't be able to reach the teacher easily. So, here what the teacher can do is, she can arrange the classroom furniture in a manner, probably something of that kind, that she is arranging all the tables and the chairs in the table row kind of arrangement, or what she can do is probably she can arrange them in a circular manner depending on what she is teaching in the classroom. Then besides the chairs and the tables in the classroom, there are certain cupboards which are there may be certain kind of desk which would be there. So, those desks, those cupboards are going to acquire some kind of space. So, probably those things can be moved towards the edge of the classroom, towards the walls of the classroom, so that they do not occupy the floor space. If the floor space is empty, only then the teacher will be able to easily move around in the classroom and also to the students. The students would also be easily able to reach to the teachers. Please understand that it is always a two-way interaction, especially in the younger children classrooms. It's the students also need a good amount of time and a good amount of space to reach to the teachers also. For senior classes, these problems are lesser because the students do not need to move around too often, but for the younger children, this need is more. So, the floor space or the empty floor space should be large enough that these things can be accommodated easily. Moving further, the next important aspect of the classroom would be the wall space and the bulletin boards. We have done with the furniture, we are done with the floor space. Now, let us move to the wall spaces. Now, wall spaces and bulletin boards can easily make a classroom look lively. They can make the classroom attractive. They can contribute to the students' independence and achievement. But again, coming back, it depends on the teacher that how is she using this space. It is not again always the resources which are going to come into play. Certain low cost resources can also be used for the same. If you do not have those wooden bulletin boards, probably you can place large charts on the space and you can use it for certain kind of things. We have seen teachers who are very innovative in these kind of things, and there are birthday charts which are put in the classroom, wherein each month whoever's birthday is coming in, the child's name is written on the bulletin board. So, what is going to give that thing to the child is, one is that it makes the classroom lively. Secondly, it is making a feeling of identity for the child in the classroom. The child feels that this space is mine, this classroom is mine, if the classroom has a specific identity. So, who can do that job? It is the teacher who can do that job. She can make the classroom look lively, she can make it look attractive. Now, once a thing looks lively, if the room is looking attractive, it is making an impact not only on the learners, not only on the children, but even the teachers feel more welcomed by the classrooms. The teachers do themselves feel more interested in teaching. So, it is going to contribute to students' independence also, it is contributing to the students' motivation also. You may have simple motivation charts which are there put up on the bulletin boards, or there may be achievement charts which are put up on the boards. Then there are teachers who do a black star or red star kind of arrangement. You are being appreciated, the students are being appreciated for the good behavior they have done in the classroom. Then the students may have prepared certain kind of material probably in their homework or other kind of activities. So, those kind of things are also put on the bulletin boards. Now, that gives a sense of achievement to the child also, because it is the child's work which is put on the bulletin board. Then the third important aspect of the furniture or the space arrangement would be the learning material. We are done with the classroom furniture, we are done with the floor space, we are done with the wall space, we are done with the bulletin boards. Comes the next aspect, essential aspect, pivotal aspect, which is of learning materials. Now, there is always a stock of learning material which would be there in the classroom, depending on obviously the kind of school which the child, which the classroom is placed in. So, for learning materials, you need to do a careful planning for placement of the learning materials. This can also help in achieving the goal of facilitating the learner's interest in the learning activities. There are desks in the classroom, there are cupboards in the classroom. If the learning material is stacked inside the classrooms, you have not done your job, because the students are not able to see. So, you are not facilitating the learner's interest in any ways. Now, if you are displaying them, but not in a manner that they are easily within the reach of the child or within the reach of distraction of the child, then again the job is half done. So, the teacher needs to plan herself that where is she going to arrange these learning materials, so that it is stimulating an interest in the learner, but it is not creating a distraction for the learners. So, it is teacher again wherein who plays an important role, that how the space can be managed in the classroom. Since we are talking about the learning materials, we should also understand that these learning materials are not always something hard or physical in structure and have to be placed in the classroom. You may be using the walls for the same, you may be using the doors for the same. The teacher can, if she arouses an interest and if she thinks on those lines, she can use the space of the classroom also, she can use the walls of the classroom also as learning activities. For let us say, just talk about an example, if one is talking about the solar system and you need to tell your children how a solar system looks like, probably she can paint a solar system on the wall, or she can paint a solar system, or even on the floor she can do that kind of thing. So, even during their while away time, when the children are not doing anything in terms of academic learning, they may be engaged or they may themselves be interested in using that space for learning those kind of things. We have seen teachers who have used the doors for explaining the concept of angles to the students. So, they have made a protector kind of arrangement on the floor where the door is opening. So, at different angles the door is being pushed on and the different angles are being made. So, you using the learning material, the building or the walls or the classroom or the floor space also as a learning material. Now, what is going to be benefited out of the same would be that it would facilitates the learner's interest in the learning activities, even when they are on their own. Even when the teacher is not with them, the students would be engaged in learning because of these kind of learning materials which are available in the classroom or which are available in the space outside the classroom also. Now, coming to the last leg, we are coming down to the different kind of sitting arrangements which are there in activity based classrooms. Depending on the kind of activity you are going to engage your students in, you can have different kind of sitting arrangements. If I have to use a lecture method kind of thing, if I have to just deliver certain kind of information, the table row arrangement would be a good idea. But let us say if I have to tell a story to the children, then probably I would want that my children should be sitting closer to me. So, in that case what I would do is, I would make a semicircle kind of arrangement. You can see in the slide that there are different kinds of sitting arrangements which have been posed, that I can do a semicircle kind of arrangement also, so that the children are closer to the teacher. There would be certain activities which would be group based activities and there are certain activities which are individual based activities. So, depending on activity, because it is an activity based classroom, remember, Since it's an activity based classroom, different kind of activities are there. Now what different kind of activities? There could be bus sessions, there could be project work, there could be teacher given instructions, or there could be some drawing sessions, there could be story sessions, and all of these would require different kind of seating arrangements. We can see in the slide, for individual group work, for individual work, there is going to be different kind of seating arrangement, probably one chair, one table would do. But if it's a project which is being done by 3 children or 4 children, then I need to put together 3 tables and 3 desks together, so that these children can sit together and they are not exploited by the other activities which are happening in the classroom or the other students who are doing their own projects also. So depending on activity, you can plan the different kind of sitting arrangements also in the classroom. Now sitting arrangements of the students, let me re-emphasize, they are going to vary from one activity to another. Having done with this, I hope you will be able to understand that how the classroom space can be organized in a better manner, and it's the skill of the teacher who is doing that job, whether it comes to time management or whether it comes to classroom space management. It's a teacher who is acquiring an important place and who is doing that job. So if she has arranged the materials in a proper manner, the space can be arranged better. So it is not the number of material which the teacher has in the classroom. It's more to do with the kind of arrangement which the teacher has made for the classroom. But remember, it's not always that a neat and tidy classroom is going to look better. It's the planning that where the teacher is keeping a proper material. There are classrooms for the sake of creating a neat environment or a tidy environment, all the things are stacked inside the cupboard. If that kind of thing is done, you are not solving the purpose, you are not serving the purpose even, because those materials are meant to be used by children. But at the same moment, the teacher needs to remember that an organized environment is going to induce an interest in the students. So to maintain that, have material but arrange them properly. Similarly, when it comes to time, it's not that the teacher should be spending all her time in the classroom in engageful learning only or in active learning also. She has to do other kind of activities in the classroom. It's just not possible that if she is entering the classroom for 20-25 minutes, she is going to do only teaching or she is going to do only engaged learning with the students. There are going to be other aspects which are going to acquire her time or which are going to snatch away time from her. So, for that kind of thing not to happen, or not to reduce the kind of engaged learning time which the teacher is planning in the classrooms, what she can do is she can plan herself in a better manner. Planning or preparing for the things always aids to any kind of thing which is being done in the classroom. So if proper arrangement of time is being done, proper management of time is being done, and at the same time proper management of space which is being done in the classroom, the teacher will be able to induce learning, encourage learning and create rightful interest among the students. That's all for this session. Thank you all.